नमस्कार। हर संडे की तरह आपके साथ जुड़ चुका हूँ और आप जानते ही हैं कि मैं आपसे रिजर्व बैंक के जो डायरेक्शंस और गाइडलाइंस आते हैं उसके ऊपर आपसे हर संडे को बात करता हूँ। पूरा शेड्यूल जो है वो पीछे करके हम लोग आज एक नए टॉपिक पे बात करने वाले हैं जिसमें धनंजय जी गोखले भी हमारे साथ जुड़ जाएंगे। लेकिन उनके जुड़ने के पहले इस सर्कुलर के ऊपर मैं थोड़ी ब्रीफिंग दूंगा। उसके बाद में धनंजय जी से टेक्निकल डिटेल्स के बारे में बात करेंगे, वो भी हमारे साथ जुड़ने ही वाले हैं। तो ये आज का जो वीडियो होगा, आज का जो शो होगा, थोड़ा शायद लंबा खींच सकता है, लेकिन जो सब्जेक्ट है वो भी क्रिटिकल है और आप सभी को उसके बारे में डिटेल में जानकारी होना बहुत ही अनिवार्य है। सब्जेक्ट है ये 5 जनवरी के जो रिजर्व बैंक ने क्रेडिट रिस्क मैनेजमेंट के बारे में एक अमेंडमेंट डायरेक्शंस निकाला है। पढ़ोगे तो हैरान हो जाओगे। पढ़ोगे तो हैरान इसलिए हो जाओगे कि जो डायरेक्टर रिलेटेड लोन्स हैं उसके बारे में ये सर्कुलर है। काफ़ी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस है और हमें ये बिल्कुल समझ के करना चाहिए। और ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट सर्कुलर इसलिए है क्योंकि इसमें सीधे पिनल एक्शंस जो लग सकते हैं बैंक के ऊपर। अगर हम कुछ गलती करते हैं तो उसमें सीधे पिनल एक्शंस लग सकते हैं। मैं थोड़ा सा ओवरव्यू लूंगा और बाय द टाइम धनंजय गोखले जॉइन्स अस we will have a detailed view on this particular circular. ज़्यादा समय नहीं लूँगा क्योंकि हम लोग धनंजय जी से टेक्निकल डिटेल्स के बारे में बात करने वाले हैं और आइडिया ये है कि आपको इसका पूरा जो ढांचा है वो समझ में आ जाए। ये जो सर्कुलर है और इसके हमारे डायरेक्टर्स के ऊपर क्या इम्प्लीकेशंस हो रहे हैं, उसके सिलसिले में हम लोग बात करने वाले हैं। ये जो अमेंडेड डायरेक्शन है, इसमें इन्होंने जो गाइडलाइंस दिए हैं वो समझना भी बहुत ज़रूरी है। आप जानते ही हैं कि हमारे डायरेक्टर्स हमारी बैंक से लोन नहीं लेते हैं, लेकिन वो वहाँ तक अभी सीमित नहीं रहा है। वो कहीं और से भी लोन लेंगे तो उसके ऊपर काफ़ी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लग रहे हैं, लिमिट वाइज रिस्ट्रिक्शन लग रहे हैं। और जिसको हम कहते हैं कि डेफिनेशन ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स एंड रिलेटेड पार्टीज का जो एक्सटेंशन दिया है इस डायरेक्शन में, इसमें रेगुलेटरी ओवरसाइट बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग कर दिया है। स्ट्रिक्ट प्रोहिबिशन है डायरेक्टर्स और रिलेटेड पार्टीज को। रिलेटेड पार्टी का मतलब क्या है ये मुझे समझाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि जो भी कोई डायरेक्टर्स का रिलेटिव होता है, रिलेटेड पार्टी होती है, उसमें रिस्ट्रिक्शन तो है ही। लेकिन उन्होंने थोड़ा एग्जम्पशन इसलिए दिया है कि अगर सिक्योर्ड है तो सिक्योर्ड मतलब डिपॉजिट से या गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी से या सरेंडर वैल्यू जिस एलआईसी पॉलिसी को है उसके सामने अगर आप डायरेक्टर को लोन देते हैं तो उसमें रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं लगता है। लेकिन बाकी सब जगह पे जहाँ पे भी डायरेक्टर रिलेटेड है, जहाँ पे किसी भी फर्म में डायरेक्टर अगर पार्टनर है या कहीं एम्प्लॉय है, तो उसके लिए उसके सामने आप लोग लेंडिंग नहीं कर सकते हो। उसके रिस्ट्रिक्शंस के बारे में ये गाइडलाइंस दी गई है। रिलेटेड पार्टी का जो रूल्स है वो रूल्स आपको बनाने के लिए रिजर्व बैंक कह रही है। डायरेक्टर्स की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इसमें बढ़ चुकी है। मटेरियलिटी थ्रेशोल्ड जो रिलेटेड पार्टी लोन्स के बारे में है उनको उसमें दिया गया है। और एक चीज़ उन्होंने क्लियर कट की है कि डायरेक्टर्स का रोल बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट है। और जो हाई कोर्ट के जजों को जो टर्मिनोलॉजी यूज़ की जाती है उस टर्मिनोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल इस सर्कुलर में उन्होंने बहुत ही क्लियर कट ढंग से किया गया है। I mean, what they are saying is that a director should recuse himself wherever a subject matter where he is interested comes up for deliberation or discussion. Recuse का मतलब क्या है? Recuse का मतलब अगर कहा जाए तो स्ट्रिक्ट टर्म में अगर कहा जाता है तो he himself disqualifies from being a competent person to decide. सिंपल डेफिनेशन क्या है? टू स्टे अवे फ्रॉम दी डेलिबरेशन एंड डिस्कशन। जैसे कि अप्रूवल ऑफ लोन है, वन टाइम सेटलमेंट है, राइट ऑफ है, जहां पे भी जो केस आप बोर्ड के सामने आती है और उसमें अगर डायरेक्टर खुद इन्वॉल्व है या उसकी रिलेटेड पार्टी इन्वॉल्व है, तो वहाँ पे उसको रिक्यूज करना बहुत ज़रूरी है। आपको रिकॉर्ड अपडेट करना है डायरेक्टर्स के, रिलेटेड पार्टीज का, और वो जो रिकॉर्ड अपडेट आपको करना है वो हर 6 महीने में आपको करना चाहिए। कहा नहीं गया है, सर्कुलर में नहीं कहा गया है, लेकिन दैट इज important because Reserve Bank of India is pushing the directors into the governance role. They should be governing the policies. नॉन कंप्लायंस के लिए इन्फोर्समेंट बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट होगा। इन्फोर्समेंट का पैराग्राफ पढ़ोगे तो आप डर जाओगे, क्योंकि वो मॉनेटरी पेनल्टी के अलावा कुछ भी कर सकते हैं। कुछ भी डीम्ड फिट की व्याख्या में जो भी आएगा वो कवर करने वाले हैं। हालांकि ये सर्कुलर का इफेक्टिव डेट 1 अप्रैल है, 1 अप्रैल 2026, 1 अप्रैल 2026 के बाद होगा। और इसीलिए और एक उन्होंने अमेंडमेंट सर्कुलर निकाला है, दैट इज रिगार्डिंग डिस्क्लोजर, दैट हैज आल्सो कम फ्रॉम 1 अप्रैल 2026। समरी मुझे जो लगता है कि रोबस्ट क्रेडिट रिस्क पॉलिसी कवरिंग रिलेटेड पार्टी आपको करना बहुत ज़रूरी हो गया है। और डायरेक्टर्स को स्ट्रॉन्ग कंप्लायंस के ऊपर उन्होंने लाया है, और डायरेक्टर्स और एम्प्लॉयज़ जो है उनके लिए भी उन्होंने इम्पोर्टेंट ये कर दिया है। और केएमपी की व्याख्या उन्होंने ब्रॉड कर दी है। की मैनेजमेंट पर्सनल के बारे में वो ये ऐसा कहते हैं कि यूसीबी को डिफाइन करना है कि केएमपी शैल मीन ऑल एम्प्लॉयज 1 level below the board and any person designated as such by the board. Broader definition उन्होंने इसमें कर दिया है। इन सब चीज़ों के बारे में, इन सब डेलिबरेशंस, ये जो सर्कुलर के जो डेलिबरेशंस, इसके बारे में हम लोग धनंजय जी गोखले को इनवाइट करते हैं। सो लेट्स वेलकम धनंजय जी गोखले, हु विल be responding to the critical questions on this entire 9-page circular, so that the clarity is restored properly. So let's welcome Dhananjay ji. Namaskar sir.
Namaste.
Thank you for joining this critical podcast about the credit risk management amendment direction. You know the subject. I would like you to talk briefly about it, and then there would be specific questions on the subject. The floor is yours. The topic is complex. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just briefly talk about a kind of overview of the circular, means
Yeah,
what has really changed, and which according to me is a kind of a bothering point for UCBs. I will restrict myself to UCBs right now
yeah,
because the guidelines which are issued for each category of bank are altogether different. Means there is completely different perspective for commercial bank as compared to UCB. So we'll stick to UCB.
yeah.
Now, this 5th January circular, what it basically talks about is that it's more to kind of ensure that there is a probability that through related parties there is a possibility that there might be a systemic risk which might get created in banking sector. Now, that related party definition for the first time, it has got increased to include one more category, which is called as reciprocally related party.
Yes.
Now, that reciprocally related is something which was never heard of, and it's a kind of a new concept. Now, what it really means is, and that's where the pinching part starts actually.
Yeah.
Now, this reciprocally related person, if you look at the definition, it includes the director of any other cooperative bank. It includes the board of management member of any other cooperative bank, and relatives of those respective members, and firms and companies wherein they have a substantial or interest. Now, what it really means is, suppose we have two banks, say Bank A and Bank B. A director or board of management member of Bank A, when he avails a loan from Bank B, he becomes a reciprocally related party.
Okay.
Now, reciprocally related person, once we say that, the definition of a related party now includes a normal related person and also a reciprocally related person. Now, related person definition was already there. Means that is nothing new. There is nothing new in that, and
Yeah,
which we all of us know, and logically also one can derive.
yeah,
Just to give certain examples is that the relatives of the existing director of a cooperative bank, the firms and entities wherein they have a substantial interest, all those will get covered.
yeah,
Now, with a reciprocally related person, just to put it in nutshell, is that if someone is a related person in any other cooperative bank, he becomes a related person in other cooperative bank also. That is
yeah,
a reciprocally related part.
yeah,
Probably what the regulator is looking at is to ensure that there is no cross lending which happens amongst the related persons, amongst the cooperative sector to be specific. And then at the same time, they have given a kind of a relaxation also that to what extent you can give loan to related persons. Now, the earlier guidelines, if we look at the earlier guidelines, the more focus was there on the board members.
yeah,
And now that reciprocally related and related persons who are there, so there is a relaxation. So depending upon in which category the bank is, that is tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, they have four structures: 10 lakh, 25 lakhs, 75 lakhs, and 1 crores. Now, this is the upper cap. What they expect is that they should have a board approved policy for all these related persons, which includes the reciprocally related. At the same time, they need to have a differentiation between categories of loan. So one bank should not say that, say, if I'm into the, say, tier 3 category, I should not say that for all loans 75 lakhs will apply. So the limits are required to be prudentially set out. The biggest challenge which I can see over here is one is about the compliance, which by plain reading also one can understand. But there is a hitch in this compliance that as of now, at least I'm not aware about any central registry wherein we can get this information about who is a related person, that is more specifically reciprocally related person. Secondly, the definition of relative is as per the Companies Act. So at the most, one can get the information of, say, board of directors and board of management. At the most, I'm saying. Again, I am skeptical about that, not having any specific registry for that. But relatives is a wide definition. So unless and until there is some database, a reliable database is available, the banks are going to have a tough time. Now, what is the solution for that? Solution is that for any loan which is given, bank has to take a declaration, kind of a self-declaration from that borrower, guarantors, that he is not falling into a related party or a reciprocally related person definition. And if he falls into that, he has to inform the bank. Now, that's where the trick, starts. That it's going to be a tough thing.
yeah.
At the same time, we don't have a kind of option now since the circular is there. So that's a prima facie, I should say, reaction from my side.
Uh, so this circular is not that simple as it sounds. I mean, there are a lot of complexities, and one of the major complexity which I find is that the definition has been made a little bit complex. And coming
Yeah,
back straight away to one of the major complexities which I find is that on page number 7, the regulatory prohibitions, if you can refer to the page number 7,
yeah,
there is 14G and 14H.
yeah,
If you look at the 14G and 14H, which talks about the UCBs categorized under Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3,
yeah,
shall not undertake lending transactions with the relatives of directors except credit
yeah,
facilities which are fully secured by either cash deposit or insurance policies which has a surrender
yeah,
value.
yeah,
And then
yeah, yeah.
14H talks about the firms and companies. I mean, what was the need to differentiate it like this? I mean, this is about the above the materiality threshold which has been prescribed. Now, these two paragraphs do not really clarify the things the way they should have done it. I mean, what is your
The
view
second,
on this?
yeah, the difference which I can see over here is that typically relatives are individuals. And here we are talking about related entities
Yeah,
in 14H para.
yeah,
So 14G is more focusing about relatives. Relatives per se are always supposed to be individuals.
yeah,
And that is what is specified in 14G.
yeah.
As far as 14H, now 14G is almost at par with loan to directors.
Yeah.
There is no differentiating between that. So
Yes.
the
Yes.
same
Yes.
logic continues that,
Yes.
wherein there is a risk-free kind of a lending.
Yeah.
14H now extends, beyond that. And it talks about any entity. Now that any entity becomes a kind of a tricky thing.
Yeah.
The reason being, the relatives of directors who are there in different firms, companies, and concerns. In many cases, the bank may not have a ready-made list of it.
Yeah.
Secondly, it may not be necessary that the relative will come back to the director and update him about the new, ventures which he's undertaking. So probably, just to, to be on a positive side, initially the directors gives the list of relatives. The relative also cooperate with him. He gives the entire list of entities wherein he's holding a position.
Yeah.
Now, tomorrow after 1 year, suppose the relative has formed another firm or an entity.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to think about how we will religiously come back to the director and then update that list, and then in turn the bank updates the list. So that is something wherein uh, uh, even the governance principle will be there. That the director should make relatives aware that what is expected from the respective relatives to update themselves on there and there itself, and then update the bank. Now this will be possible only when there is a procedure wherein central registry is maintained, wherein the director has to log in, put in, say, some PAN number or some identification number so that the bank is able to trace it out. But otherwise, the whole reliance is on self-regulatory norms.
I mean, self-declaration is the only thing
It's
that
a
seems.
self-declaration,
Yeah.
self-updation
Yeah.
about a declaration.
Now
And
that.
one way for just one additional thing that for cooperative bank, what they need to do is they need to sensitize the director that how the entire perspective has changed and what is expected from them.
Yeah.
So maybe on a periodic basis, they can take a confirmation that there is no change in relatives and related entities which they have declared earlier.
Now there is one more issue that they have brought it up very clearly, which is normally applicable. I mean, what we have heard about is the Supreme Court
Yeah,
judges or High Court judges, that they should recuse themselves. I mean, recuse is a terminology where the person considers himself not qualified to take a decision. And they have
yeah,
brought a clarity on that. If there is a discussion either on sanctioning or write-off or one-time settlement, and if the person is interested or if the director is interested, he should declare that he is recusing himself. That is, there is a
yeah,
temporary disqualification element that Reserve Bank of India has brought out very clearly. Now,
yeah,
this never happens in the urban cooperative banks. How the urban cooperative banks are going to handle this? One, they have to record it, and
yeah.
second, that this recusing by a director in a particular decision has to be seen in the right perspective, is what I believe.
See,
And Reserve Bank of India has simply stated this, that the person should recuse. I mean, the interested director should recuse himself. There it stops. How
yeah,
administratively this will be implemented is one complex matter which I find. This is one question which I would like you to respond. And
yeah.
second is
Now, yeah,
the definition of KMPs, which the secular clarifies that वो किसी को भी KMP कर सकते हैं. I mean, any person that the Urban Cooperative Bank may designate as KMP. Earlier, the KMP was a limited definition. They have broadened the definition. I mean, what is your view on these two areas?
yeah. First, I will address about KMP because that is a short kind of answer. See, as far
Yeah,
as KMP concept is concerned, if you keep it only limited to one step below the board, so it's practically only maybe next to MD, maybe joint
yeah,
MD or
yeah,
maybe CGM in some banks. In some
yeah,
banks, it might be GM.
yeah,
I'm not calling MD as the next line because MD, I presume that is part of board.
yeah,
So it's better to consider that the second in line or a second in command should be the one.
yeah,
Now, the challenge will be in a bigger bank, there might be multiple such persons uh, who need not be exactly one step below that, but who are maybe, two steps below or one and a half step below. Sometimes there are parallel, things which happen.
yeah,
Now, to ensure that, what is meant by KMP is that the bank should first decide that whom they want to designate as KMP. The discretion is theirs. In spite of that, if the bank feels that only that one notch below person is the only KMP, they're free to do that. So it's their discretion.
Okay.
Now, typically, what the bank should think about KMP is that if you're talking about a larger bank, you need to think about typically departmental heads or those who are really driving the executive
Organization.
committee or something of that sort. If it is a smaller bank, they need to introspect and ask themselves a question that who are the key persons with whom the decisions are taken, who are consulted in executives,
Yeah.
and they should designate it as KMP, because there is an indirect responsibility once someone is designated as a KMP.
Yeah.
Now, secondly, about that para 14L,
Yeah.
about recusing themselves. See, this was something which was expected to be done, even if it was not written somewhere.
Yeah.
If I'm an interested party by any means, the best way to look at it from governance point of view is that I should declare that I'm an interested party. I need to, I should not involve myself. I should not have direct, indirect influence also. And to be on a fair side, I should declare my interest there and there itself, and I need to walk out of the meeting. I will tell you the reason why I'm saying walking out of the meeting also. If I'm merely a spectator, I'm just watching, how the discussions are getting held, there is an indirect influence which I can hold.
Yeah.
Just to give an example, like suppose I am an interested party related to a borrower account in any capacity. Let's not get into a capacity because there are many folds for that. I will come to that point at a later stage. But if I'm sitting over there and if the board member or any committee member in that particular case, if he wants to give an adverse comment, he will hesitate, and that hesitation will be dependent upon my position in the board or my position in the bank. So to avoid that, the best practice is that he should not be there itself in the meeting. So if
He
it is
should not
say
be
a virtual
present. He
meeting,
should stay
he should
away
not be
from.
present.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now the challenge over there is how the bank will minutize everything and how they will be able to demonstrate that this was something which was done by them. So proper documentation will be required, not only in terms of minutes actually, but also in terms of virtual meetings which are held in multiple cases. That
Yeah.
when the discussion was there, the recording should prove that the director declared he exited out of the meeting and later on he joined in the meeting.
This is required to be
Now,
recorded appropriately, is
it
what I
has to be
believe.
recorded. It has to be recorded. Now, secondly, the wordings which are used are involving themselves or their related parties. Now, it has not been made clear as to what it really means. Means I will just read the lines. The directors, KMP specified employees shall recuse themselves from deliberation decisions on loan proposals or contracts and arrangements involving themselves or their relatives. Now, the basic thing is that whichever type of loans are fundamentally not allowed, those are not allowed itself. This typically will have two kind of meaning, and one is a easier one and second one is a complex one. So the easier one is that the chart which is there in 14I, if someone is fitting into that, naturally, he should not participate in those discussions. That 10 lakh, 25 lakh, 75 lakh, and 1 crore. Now I'm having a little different kind of a question. That if there is an expert in the board of director, where this discussion is getting held, let's presume that it's a credit committee of a board, and the discussions are going on, and typically, just to give an example, I will take 3, 4 examples. Say a chartered accountant is there, a lawyer is there, architect is there, who is acting as a valuer, and maybe some other professional is there. Now, the borrower, if he is anyway related to such persons, they need to ask themselves as to whether they are having any, not a beneficiary stake or something, but whether they should stay away or abstain away from getting into the discussions related to that loan. I mean, just to give a simple example, suppose a practicing CA is a board member and a borrower is the one wherein the audit is conducted by that borrower. Or to give another example, suppose someone is a lawyer and he is representing a different case in the court of law on behalf of a borrower. Or if there is a valuer who has acted on behalf of that valuer, or if there is an actuary who has done an actuarial valuation for that borrower. My personal view is that one should stay away from all these discussions, because even though you don't have a financial interest in that, in a governance, parlance, you might become someone who is having a kind of a different kind of a interest in that. Now, the challenge over there is, let's talk about a doctor. If someone is a patient to that doctor, now whatever applies to this financial sector or legal sector, the same set should apply. So the best way to deal with that is, if a director is aware that I'm having any kind of a dealing with that particular person who is a borrower, if I'm anyway going to influence the borrower in any way, or if I'm having that kind of a power, I should stay away. It's as simple as that. So it's better to go little beyond theoretical definition
Yeah.
and come out clean actually, rather than getting jumbled up into all other things.
Okay. There is one more area which I would like you to clarify. The regulatory prohibitions virtually exclude the Tier 4 banks.
Yeah,
Why the Tier 4 banks have been excluded? That is one question. And second is the materiality threshold limit,
yeah,
which has been prescribed, excludes the secured loans like secured against fixed deposit and all that. The
yeah,
materiality threshold limit does not cover the advances which are, say, against the fixed deposit of the bank, to put it simply.
yeah, yeah,
It would mean that irrespective of the security cover, this materiality threshold becomes applicable, is what I believe. So these two critical question I would like you to respond, and then there will be a third question which I would like to ask.
yeah. See, as far as the materiality threshold is concerned, suppose someone is having, say, 5 crores of FD in the bank and he avails a loan against that 5 crore, uh, and he is well within that cap of 5 crores, means that LTV ratio is maintained. Materiality threshold limit will not apply to such loans. Means I don't see it in that way. The reason is that which they are saying about loans to related parties which are not prohibited in terms of provisions of chapter 3 and 4 of these directions.
Yeah,
Now, these directions actually they have a specific permission which is given for government securities, life insurance policies, and fixed deposit receipt, which still prevails. So these are not kind of subset of those restrictions. It is only for those loans which are otherwise not, which are otherwise permitted. So the loans which are permitted are FD, LIP, government security, that is still there without any threshold. And even that applies to the directors also. Other than that, all these limits will apply. So that is first thing.
so
Secondly, as far as
can I
exclude,
interrupt? Can I
yeah,
interrupt you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It would mean that a director can avail loan against stock and debtors up to the materiality threshold limit which has been prescribed.
See, as far as loan to related, no, I will just, defer that. I will refer to the definition of related parties, which is given in the definition para.
Yeah,
Now, what it talks about is related party shall mean related person
yeah,
and reciprocally related person. So,
yes,
reciprocally related, we already talked about that.
yeah.
Now, as far as the related, that list is concerned, and if we go to the definition of a related person, that includes director, specified employees, KMP of the bank, and other things. Now, what really matters over in this case is, if you want to give a loan to a related party, including all those directors, their related persons, and reciprocal related parties, threshold limits are given. Now, these are prudential limits. The challenge will be, suppose someone is trying to argue that it's a stock and book debt loan, and let's presume that it's Tier 4 bank. So I will a limit up to 1 crore. The board has to first have that policy.
That's all
So board
presumed.
should
I
have,
mean, having a policy is presumed, sir. So it has to
yeah,
be defined in the policy. Presumed. आजकल तो
yeah,
रिजर्व बैंक कुछ भी बोलता है वो पॉलिसी करो और करो. And the policy should
that
be
is
within the
permitted then.
precincts of the regulatory guidelines.
That is,
Simple.
but then that is permitted.
Okay. Okay. So
But
for
then you should have a mechanism
yeah,
to follow that 14L also.
yeah,
That now I will put it in a little different way.
yeah,
See, suppose say a director wants to avail a loan of 1 crore.
yeah.
Means I will just try to put in a different perspective.
Hmm.
Now I will combine it with 14L. Now
Okay.
14L talks about directors, KMP specified person, they should not involve, mean they should not get into deliberations on loan proposals
Yeah.
involving themselves and related parties.
Recusal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the real question is that in the board, actually, at times, there are decisions which are taken by committee and, KMPs and other thing. Now, they should prove themselves that then they are not involved in, any of these proposals.
Okay.
Now, that becomes a ticklish thing, actually.
Yeah, that will always be a
That,
ticklish. और ये कौन इतना क्या ये कलयुग है भाई, सतयुग तो नहीं
yeah.
है.
Means, what my view is that the bank should think twice before including such clauses in credit policy,
Very
even though it
true.
is permitted.
Very
It will
true.
take time. See, and now I will tell you the challenge, which is there. Once you have the limits, actually, you have the option, to go for it. But it becomes very difficult to prove that the loan eligibility and all the parameters, on which the loan was eligible, they were strictly followed. So a single kind of a deviation might turn into a kind of a snowball wherein one can make an allegation that you have favored someone. So one has to be above all, actually. When you want to, make use of this self discretions. It's a little tricky thing.
It's a tricky
Uh,
thing. I know it's a tricky thing. It's a
But it is permitted. So,
Yeah.
to answer your question, it is very well permitted.
Yeah.
To answer your earlier question about exclusion of Tier 4, see, there is nothing like discriminating. The question is that the Tier 4 have capability to take certain kind of a risk. So,
Okay.
it's kind of effort to kind of pick them at par with commercial banks. So,
Very
that is the
true.
only thing.
Very true.
Uh,
Very true. There
yeah,
is no other explanation. There is one more thing.
yeah,
I mean, coming back to the entire discussion is that uh, there are similar guidelines for the commercial banks.
yeah,
Now, the question is, the commercial banks have also started looking at the whole story in a different way. They have started refusing. अगर यार तुम
yeah,
किसी अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक में डायरेक्टर हो तो हमारी लिमिट्स अलग है.
yeah,
So, how
yeah.
do you view the story where the commercial banks have stopped taking a call on the entire story in the sense that नहीं हम लोग ये लिमिट के बाहर आपका लिमिट रिन्यू नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि आप अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक में डायरेक्टर हो. यानी इसमें कंफ्यूजन ऐसा हो रहा है कि मैं अगर अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक में डायरेक्टर हूं तो मेरे को कोई कोई पैसा ही नहीं देगा, कोई कमर्शियल बैंक
No,
भी
no,
पैसा
it's
नहीं देगा. तो ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है क्या? आई मीन what are the things which are coming to you and how do you view this?
Yeah, see, actually, there is nothing like they cannot give any loan. So
Yeah.
the concept is slightly different. And in fact, I missed out that point when we are talking about the introductory part.
Yeah.
See, what they are now, specifying over there is similar to this reciprocally related party. They have a little different definition. So in the reciprocally related party for a commercial bank, the definition includes their own director, that is natural.
Yeah.
It includes commercial banks, scheduled cooperative banks also.
Okay.
So what it doesn't include is a bank which is not a scheduled cooperative bank. So just to give
Okay.
an example, if someone is a director in a bank which is not a scheduled UCB, they are not reciprocally related party for commercial banks. So that is
Very
first one.
true.
So
Very true.
it has only ramification only to those directors and board of management members who fortunately or unfortunately, I should say it fortunately, they are members on scheduled cooperative bank. Now, having said that, RBI is very liberal in different terms.
Yeah.
So their threshold limits are 5 crore, 10 crore, and 25 crore based on their size of balance sheet.
Yeah.
Now, as far as these threshold limits are concerned, they have a different concept. They have a concept wherein they have asked the board either themselves or they should form a committee on lending to related parties. Now,
Okay.
in that case, they can go above that 5, 10, and 25 crores also. So to
Well, the
just
risk
distinguish
appetite
between
is
two.
different, therefore they can do that.
Yeah, yeah. So what they say is up to that threshold limit, that 5, 10, and 25, a normal credit process can follow
Okay.
by normal hierarchy. So suppose someone is having a delegated power of say uh, 15 crores and the bank is into 25 crore threshold, no special thing is required to be done. They can do on their own, the respective delegated authorities.
Yeah.
If you want to go beyond 25 crores, that special committee or the board themselves, they will look into it, but practically there is no upper cap.
Okay.
For cooperative bank, you cannot go beyond that. Whether you have board or, have a special committee, that is not at all the case.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
is first thing. Now there is one more interesting thing which is coming out of that differentiating definitions. So suppose someone is a director in a scheduled commercial bank. That person is not included in the reciprocally related party as far as UCB is concerned. So
Okay.
just to give a far-stretched example, suppose a board member in say public sector bank or a commercial private sector bank, he can avail a loan of 20 crores from a cooperative bank also because he doesn't become a reciprocally related party because it is not in the definition.
Yeah.
But vice versa, if he goes, if a scheduled cooperative bank director goes to say a commercial bank, he becomes a reciprocally related party. But that
I
is
know.
something which I believe that it's more about ensuring that there is no different kind of credit risk which is getting created. Or
Yeah.
probably there might be a expectation that these things are required to be curtailed to ensure that there is no interconnectivity between financial institutions. So that's how I will see that.
Sir, thank you so much for the clarity that you are bringing to the whole story. I mean, let's hope that the urban cooperative banks don't mess up with the directions which have been given. Of course, we are open to clarify to any of the cooperative banks,
Yeah.
and as you guys know that both of us try to help the banks in understanding the regulatory guidelines so that they don't violate. That's how the story is. Thank you, Dhananjay, for
Yeah.
throwing light on the entire story. Thank you so much. We'll keep coming to you and uh, hope that the story is clean, is what I believe.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for watching our
Yeah.
channel and watching Dhananjay Gokhale talking on this subject. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.